Welcome to Everything Explained. I'm your host, and today we're zooming in on a tiny thing that moves you around the world, GPS. You tap your map, you share your location, and suddenly your phone seems to know exactly where you are. But how does that happen? What signals? What clocks? What clever math makes this work? By the end, you'll see GPS isn't magic. It's a careful dance of timing, signals, and geometry. Here's the core idea. GPS satellites drift in orbit hundreds of miles above us, each one carrying very accurate clocks. They broadcast a time code that says something like, it is 12 hours 0 minutes 15.123 seconds UTC. Your receiver, which has a much cheaper clock, hears that signal and notes the arrival time according to its own clock. The receiver then compares the time the signal left the satellite with the time it arrived. The difference, multiplied by the speed of light, gives you the distance from that satellite to your receiver. Do this with at least 4 satellites, and you can solve for your position in 3 dimensions plus the receiver's clock error. That last bit, the clock error, is why 4 satellites are needed. An easy way to picture it is this. Each satellite makes your position lie somewhere on a sphere centered on that satellite, with radius equal to the measured distance. With 3 satellites you get 3 spheres, which typically intersect in a circle. Add a 4th satellite, and the intersection narrows to a single point. That point is you, at least in the sense of your coordinates. The math is clean in theory. In practice, it's messy with atmospheric quirks and noisy signals, but the principle is the backbone of GPS. How do the satellites know where they are? They carry ephemeris data, very precise orbital information that tells you where the satellite was at any given moment. Ground stations around the world monitor the satellites and upload corrections. That means your receiver can convert the rough broadcast path into an accurate line of sight to each satellite. The system uses GPS time, a time standard that runs independently of leap seconds. It's consistent, self-contained, and it's the clock that all the satellites synchronize to. Your phone's clock, meanwhile, is allowed to lag a little. The math accounts for that lag as part of the unknowns we solve. Phones also get a little help from extra data. They download almanac data so they know roughly where all the satellites should be, and if the signal is weak, they can use assisted GPS by pulling in data from a cellular network to speed up the fix. And many receivers now use more than one navigation system, GLONASS, Galileo, Beidou, and others, so they're not limited to satellites from just one country. More satellites, more geometry, and a quicker, more reliable fix. Let's talk about accuracy. Outdoors with a clear sky, a typical smartphone might land in the 5 to 10 meter range. That's enough to tell who you are in a park, or which street you're on, but not enough for precise surveying. If you want centimeter-level accuracy, you'd use differential GPS or real-time kinematic methods, which rely on nearby reference stations sending corrections, or you'd be using specialized receivers designed for that level of precision. The basic GPS signals are always free, but getting the tightest accuracy means extra infrastructure. What can go wrong? A lot, actually. Urban canyons between tall buildings and forests can reflect signals and create multipath errors, making the receiver think the signal traveled a different distance than it did. The atmosphere, the ionosphere and troposphere, can slow signals a bit, especially when the sun is stormy. If the satellites aren't well distributed across the sky, you get a weak geometry, which makes your position calculation more uncertain. And if you're indoors or underground, you may need the network's help to get a position at all. In practice, GPS is robust because receivers use many constellations, GLONASS, Galileo, Beidou, and more. More satellites gives better coverage and reliability. Analogies time. It's like listening to several clocks in different rooms, each with a slightly different sound, and trying to line up the moments they show. Or think of 4 lanterns on a hill casting light on a single rock. Where the beams overlap is you. Let me close with a quick recap. GPS solves for your location by measuring how far you are from multiple satellites using precise timing. The satellites tell time. Your receiver reports arrival times. 4 satellites let you solve for X, Y, Z, and the receiver's clock error. Atmospheric and urban obstacles mix in, but the system is built to handle them with more satellites, more data, and sometimes extra networks. GPS makes the world legible, one honest tick at a time. GPS makes the world legible, one honest tick at a time.